Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, chapter 238. With the chapter this week, so when it comes to the chapter this week, it in itself was very straightforward. It mainly just focused on the fight from Shigaraki and Re-Destro, and basically Gigantomachia have pretty much tearing the place apart. But even within those moments, there are some interesting things to talk about. First off, the irony really has come full circle in regards to how Re-Destro and from Shigaraki have developed. Because in Re-Destro's case, he's always believed in the cause of the Liberation Army, but in being burdened and trying to live up to live up to his father's example, it's actually caged him and his ideology from ever really. It's actually caged him and what he truly believes. Like everything he's based like. If this chapter is anything to go off of, everything he's based his life around has been hindranced, has revolved around his father. It never revolved around what pretty much his pretty much true what his basically all of his ideology was. So yeah, where and in reverse we basically have it's just kind of being burdened by his father's legacy. It's pretty much caged everything that he felt. He's probably felt was probably more the a little bit more the correct way of doing things. Like everything he's done, it's just been he didn't know what. I think secretly he was trying to follow. I think he was trying to follow just what his father thought was the best idea. And pretty much on the reverse side, we Shigaraki, who isn't tethered to things like family or legacies. So pretty much that along with his development up to this point has really showed us that when it comes to pretty much his current outlook. Well, when it comes to Shigaraki's current outlook, it's definitely still unnerving. It's definitely still unnerving with basically with how much he pretty much still wants he wants to destroy everything. Obviously that still isn't going to go away. But if you look in the broader spectrum of pretty much how. If you look at the broader spectrum of everything we've pretty much seen of Shigaraki up to this point in this arc, his pretty much current a lot of Shigaraki's current outlook on how he wants to use his quirk, it definitely represents a little bit more of it definitely represents a little more of what the Liberation Army, should have embraced over. It's like with Shigaraki, it's something what he believes and what he thinks is the right way to go about things. It's something that the Liberation Army themselves should have embraced from the beginning in place of what the Liberation Army has become and what the Liberation Army has been doing all this time. Like as weird as it is, and again as weird as it is and unnerving as it is, with pretty much what Shigaraki and the League of Villains represent is almost what the Liberation Army should have been from. What the Liberation Army almost should have been from like the absolute beginning. So yeah, it's really kind of weird in that respect how it's just the irony that the Liberation Army has a little bit more of controlling views has a lot more controlling views over the League of Villains. Just it's kind of, again, just the irony is palpable in that situation if you think about it. Um, I f- and I feel this in itself also opens up a very interesting conversation when it opens up a very conversation about when it comes to extremes, when it comes to the extremes that pretty much both characters represent. Because on one hand, with Shigaraki, he wants to destroy everything, yeah, like I said, so it is just kind of very interesting how both of these extremes exist, and it does open up a conversation almost of how pretty much both ideologies have this extreme to them, and from neither side and neither side has really found at least have really found that from one like have really found that one from that one have found that one like point of middle ground almost. Like neither side has really gotten there. That they've developed a lot more of this understanding when it comes to quirks and freedom, but they haven't found that middle ground at all. And on a side note, I one thing I really like about this chapter is that one page of from Shigaraki and him walking up to Re-Destro with his clothes all in tatters and worn, because if you look at the imagery in that page of Shigaraki, he almost kind of represents a little bit of a fallen angel, almost like his just with his cloak and tatters looking like wings. It really looks like he's like a fallen. He represents a little bit of a fallen angel. So a little bit of interesting symbolism there almost. Now, one thing I definitely want to take note of with this chapter real quick is the pacing, because in the past, like with this chapter, it's an extremely short chapter, and in the past, at points where it came to Horikoshi, like from doing these from minimal page chapters, the pacing has always felt a little wonky and off at times. But lately, every time that Prince Horikoshi has done like this, and and especially in the case of this chapter, it suddenly feels like the chapter feels like it flows a lot better. So I do wonder if it's just if Horikoshi has finally gotten better at managing the story within limited within the limited amount of like pages he's written out, like that. Yeah, that in itself, it kind of makes me wonder. Like I think that is the case that from Horikoshi he probably has like he probably realized he pretty much can't do like. I think something may have happened to the point where Horikoshi realized he pretty much can't do like pretty much 20 plus. He can't do like pretty much 20 plus pages consistently. So I think to him he needed to cut that down, and it was just a matter of like figuring out like what figuring out the pacing in each of those chapters. But yeah, lately it does feel like he's gotten just a little bit better at doing that now. Just finding like the perfect pace at which to go with each of these like pretty much 10 or like 12 or 14 page chapters now. And we essentially get an admission from the doctor that he was the one who basically who pretty much let Gigantomachia loose, because to him, what the doctor's thinking is that with basically Gigantomachia being loose, this to him is just another way in order to test the League. And honestly, I'm really enjoying how much the doctor's allegiances are strictly in the middle when it comes to the League, because as harsh as it may seem, you can pretty much sense just from the conversation he pretty much had with Compress that that everything he does has a method to his madness. It's just, and in this case, it's basically up to the other members of the league in order to show him what they're capable of. Like this in itself is just another step. Is just another part of another step forward in the league showing what what their future is going to be, just what their future is going to be, and how much they're willing to adapt to whatever lies ahead almost. All right, and the thing with and going back to Gigantomachia here in this chapter, is that it's once again a situation where he only briefly appeared, but after this chapter, I'm convinced we're basically at a point where I don't think we're pretty much even going to see him pretty much fight the League again or Shigaraki anymore, because from what I'm seeing when it comes to Gigantomachia, he appears to be gaining respect from what we saw in this chapter. He seemed to gain respect from Shigaraki just from the latter's aura he was giving off. So that alone has probably already made Gigantomachia submit. And if they do fight again, it'll probably be something it'll probably be on a request from Shigaraki himself. But yeah, I think Gigantomachia has witnessed Shigaraki's pretty much true resolve and now sees him as his master almost now. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and list your Crunchyroll. Dead Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.